Law enforcement and government agencies struggle with parking citations, often because no one will pay them. Boots or other devices are costly, and they invite confrontation when implied and later removed by enforcing employees. With Tire Tag, you can avoid many hurdles and ultimately promote public safety and revenue collection. To learn more, visit tiretag.com. Welcome to Blue Grit Radio, the podcast that explores making better cops for a better community. I'm your host, Eric Tung. I've been an active police officer since 2007. We will dive into the aspects of police culture, health and wellness, leadership, and mindset. You'll hear from experts not only from policing, but all industries as they relate to being our best with purpose, passion, and positivity. Join me as we share stories, lessons, and advice so we can all be better for ourselves, our teams, our families, and our communities. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Blue Grit Radio. This is your host, Eric. Today, I'm going to be diving into an article from Police Mag. Shout out to Police Mag. How to Survive the Police Academy. So this is by Ronnie Wendt. It's actually a 2018 article, but it provides a framework of 10 tips that I want to kind of expand upon. So I'm going to highlight those for all the folks that are hired, getting hired, or maybe you're in academy, and it's going to break down some general thoughts that you may already have and maybe flesh out so that you can be most successful in this venture. So here we go. Number one, prepare physically. All right, so you don't need me, the host, I suppose, and founder of Blue Grit Wellness, to talk about how this is important. It's a gimme. So if you're listening in, you're tuning in, following along, you already know how I feel about this. And I will say, without getting into the weeds, do more than what is expected and be the best that you can do with mindful approach to, not burning out or killing yourself or grinding too hard. I'm not talking about starting from 0 and getting to 60. I'm talking about make this part of your routine so that you feel you are continually challenging yourself. One thing I like to invite for folks that are getting into training in a more regimented way, especially if it's with strength, conditioning, weights, things like that, is push through discomfort, but don't push through pain. So it's not about sidelining yourself to prove something. No, because you need to do this job, this physical job. The last thing you want to do is get recycled in an academy where you get put back in the hopper for the next class. And unfortunately, your agency might not retain you depending on your injury, and they might not be able to. Anywho, that's number one. Number two, partner with fellow students. Absolutely. This is a team sport, as an article highlights. Even for agencies where you're kind of on your own out there, maybe rural or a small town, you can't do it all on your own. You got to hit up all your different partners, regional assets, and it might even be bouncing things off later, connecting with people in your agency, outside, all these partners like prosecutors, right? So just being able to connect with people, build relationships, build communication skills, and navigate conflict is absolutely crucial. So yeah, no lone wolves out there. To be doing your own thing and not engaging with your class is not going to set you up for success. Number three, maintain a good attitude. And outlook is everything. And literally your decision of whether the sky's falling or whether you are going to navigate this challenge and be better for it, it's completely on you. It is completely on you. And that's coming from someone that, as I'm human, I will continue to have those small pity parties, but my goal is to minimize them, subdue them, and flip out of them as quickly and practically as possible. But looking back on my career, there's a host of times that I was just down and I was dejected and I was blaming, I was a quote unquote victim. A lot of us don't like to think that we're victims, especially in law enforcement, but we are. Let's be real. We all navigate towards that. We all might default towards that when things get hard, but how we curb that is to actively combat it, actively fight against it, right? That's why I'm so big on mindset and ownership. Shout out Jocko, extreme ownership. But no, realize that there's always something that you can take on, your own personal agency to affect a situation and how you look at that situation, even if it is, you know what, that's really sucky over there, but I can do a lot for my own disposition. I can do a lot for my crew or the people I work around, my partner, my beat partner, a lot for our disposition, and go from there, right? You can control. There's a lot outside of it, but then you really double down on those things within your grasp. Number four, develop good study habits. I like this. I mean, it came from a really strong academic background, so academy was easy in the ways of studying. But I would also, for those that, are more in that vein, I would say, yeah, studying goes into practice. And so things that I was not so great at, the practical skills where you need reps, you need to put yourself out there, or even raising your hand and having discussion and not being confident in the answer or asking a good, meaningful question, that stuff all sparks learning. I want to talk about studying beyond that too, because even if whether or not you struggle in academy with the academic portions and the test taking, like the literal written tests or not, this job is a continual, environment to learn. You're always learning. There's always changes. Society changes, cultural changes, policy changes, legislation, case law. So by just adopting this notion that you're going to keep diving in and refining yourself and perfecting your craft, you're going to be thriving. Like, you're going to be thriving if you are in this attitude where you recognize there's always something you can learn. I mean, that's reading, that's podcasts, that's police industry, that's outside of the police industry. Absolutely, all these things. All right, I'm really excited to share with you the new Blue Grit Police Testing and Hiring Guide that's live on the website. Really, this is the culmination of everything I've learned about police testing from the time I came in myself and had to figure out trial by fire what it was that agencies wanted, at the same time how to showcase my best version of myself, like identifying strengths, weaknesses, how to conceptualize this, how to articulate this, and then going into the test itself. So written, physical components, interviews, everything that we're looking for there, the background, what that entails, polygraph, psych eval, medical, what these things all are, and then how you can make sure that you are showing up to be effective so you're not wasting your time, stress, money, all the angst of waiting for this extremely long-term process to go through. So just show up the right way, your best way the first time. Again, you can find that at bluegritwellness.com. Go to the shop, so it's bluegritwellness.com/shop. Number 5, be well rested. So yeah, academy can be long hours. And yes, everyone in their different regions is going to talk about how hard or how easy it is. But regardless, make it challenging. Even if the curriculum isn't challenging, even if the structure isn't challenging, there's things you can do. You can put in extra time, extra mat time, extra fitness. Maybe it's not quote unquote what happens at academy, but maybe it's what you're doing in the course of academy. Maybe it's, navigating a lot going on at home. Maybe you got a little one, a newborn, that kind of thing, and you're trying to make it all work. And the reason why I want to highlight on this need to be rested and kind of time box or structure your schedule and inject all these wellness practices is if you do that adequately and you find yourself with a lot of challenge and a lot of toggled, I suppose, like juggling responsibilities, and you're still doing well and you're being productive and you are growing, you're setting yourself up for a fantastic framework for the career. And I mean, all of these tips are going to be absolutely foundational for the career. So it's not just academy, it is so much more of setting yourself up right so that you can have the most dynamic, fulfilling, effective career and huge and life. So it's not just the career, it's on duty, off duty. It's what you do, who you are outside of the hours you are working in uniform. Number 6, be on time. So, I mean, there's a lot of adages with timeliness. If you're on time, you're late. But truly, the last thing you want to be when you are supposed to be a quote unquote professional is late. Academy, they will correct that real quick. And as far as your shift, responding, being operationally ready, I probably don't need to spend much more time on talking about how to be on time. Number 7, eliminate outside stress. All right, so we kind of talked about the different dynamics that might be outside of. And so rather than eliminate, because that may be impossible, it's trying to make sure that you can focus on what you need to at the time. So WIN, the acronym, what's important now? So as best you can when you're at academy or you're in training, you're on the job, focus on that. Be the best you can. And when you're off, you can put your full attention back towards that thing, whether it's family, whether it's other commitments, right? So if you're intentional, if you pay attention to what you're doing at the time, if you're present, then you are better able to toggle back and forth and you're better able to manage all these competing things, right? If we think about juggling, if we're juggling 5, 7, 10 things, I mean, I can't juggle 2 things literally. I don't have the coordination. But if we're juggling all these things metaphorically, the more we add, the more likely we're going to drop something. And if you think about something like juggling eggs, shoot, once you start to drop one and you turn your focus back and forth, you're probably going to start dropping many, if not all of them. Whereas if you juggle 2, 3 things and you set them down and you pick up the other 3 things and you juggle those, it's much more manageable, right? So try to think about that as far as applying it to your life and responsibilities. Number 8, be prepared for academy stress. Okay, so if you're not in academy now and you're listening to this, then you are already doing a lot to prepare for that. You are wrapping your head around it, you're thinking about things, you're conceptualizing it, and that's a lot of success in most things. Like just wrapping your head around it, planning, doing your homework, as it were, doing your research so that you can be set up best. There is a little chunk in here where it's just talking about how the academy is a stressful environment. So with that, the awareness is so. I already talked about how academy can be a varying degree of stressful depending on where you are or, maybe even who your instructor is compared to the class prior. But if you lean into that recognition that it's going to be stressful and you find ways to, again, keep it challenging, keep it really engaging for yourself, then you're going to get a lot out of it. So much goes to mindset, right? Literally a huge difference if I went up to you and said, "Hey, you're going to have a really hard day today. Get ready and you can do it." That's going to be entirely different than you just rolling into your day and me saying, "Hey, no idea what your day is going to be. Maybe it's going to be hard. Maybe it's going to be easy. Hopefully it's easy." Like, think about and feel the shift in mindset between the two examples. All right, number 9, seek help from instructors. Right? So know your resources. This is a huge thing, not just for academy, but beyond. Of course, some might be a little bit more old school and maybe harder to access or harder to read. But generally, people in those roles are absolutely there for you to make you better, make you safer, make you navigate the career better, set you up for success. Most of these folks, and you'll know them, and you'll know it and you'll feel it. These teachers, it comes from such a point of passion and they want to give back. They want to pay back, pay forward in a way to the next generation coming in. So utilize that. And when they're inviting it, saying, "Hey, hit me up, send me your questions. I'll be here after class or I'll be here after hours, office hours, things like that," absolutely take advantage of it. And again, just like everything else in this list, it parlays into the career. So your peer officers, senior officers, field trainers, training unit, your sarge, your mentors, take advantage, right? Because we all want to give back. We all want to be connected. And when people are putting it out there and they're putting out the right stuff, as far as like they're credible, they know what they're talking about and they have the right candor and demeanor that you feel like they are invested, then absolutely accept that mentorship and or seek that mentorship. Number 10, develop a thick skin. Absolutely. I mean, in this day and age, they talk a lot about, whether people are resilient or, have a thick enough skin. And I think that we absolutely do if we're aware of it and we conscientiously work on it. So the old school academy had a lot of kind of that drill sergeant aspect, and it came from a good place, I believe. And I think that most instructors that operate in that type of fashion, yeah, if you are able to help people endure being yelled at, that absolutely can manifest in someone being able to better navigate being yelled at on the street, which is an absolute given. It's gonna happen. So as far as like preparedness and keeping yourself together and not taking things so freaking personally, that's a huge deal. And that scrutiny, whether it's yelling at on the street or whether it's contention or resentment or passive aggressiveness in your own ranks or with a different entity or community member, like just having that thick skin, not just to accept it, but to recognize that you don't need to take it personally, and taking it personally will only help you be more ineffective. That's really critical. And then it goes into emotional awareness, emotional regulation, these conversations of EQ, emotional intelligence that are so relevant and very, very necessary. I know that traditionally they get a lot of eye rolls, but it's literally, hey, are you aware of how you feel? And do you know how to manage it so you can be most effective and rational? I mean, that's operational soundness. So I know that it carries with it a lot of stigma. Some of the training out there does not help those dynamics. But if you think about brass tacks, just being able to regulate yourself so that you are a consummate professional and you are efficient, effective in your job, how you interact with everybody in your circles, whether it's your team, whether it's the community, whether it's home when you're de-escalating and you're transitioning back out of, work mode, all highly, highly critical. So that was a really quick kind of rundown, 10 things that are going to help you excel in academy. But as you have heard, all of these things are also related to just handling the job that you can apply to any aspect of your life, whether it's the job itself or just navigating different types of stress that intersect with your career or your personal life, regardless of what your career or industry is. I mean, these are all things that just help you lean into the challenge, that help you be more resilient, adaptable, and ultimately gritty. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Blue Grit Radio. As always, support this community by subscribing, giving us a 5-star review, and following, liking, and sharing posts on Blue Grit Wellness on Instagram. You can reach me there or email me at bluegritwellness@gmail.com. Be well and stay gritty.